everyone. Welcome to the KrisKarla channel. I wanted to check in today in relation to managing your mindset, especially during these really interesting times, to say the least. One of the things that I've been especially focused on is maintaining a very clear mindset in relation to what I can control, what's within my control, and what is not in my control. And so to that point, I saw an interesting picture shared by Adam Grant on LinkedIn, and I will share it on screen as well, which I thought was just a perfect summary of this topic in terms of maintaining a very clear mindset as to what's within your control and what's out of it. So within the circle, for example, it speaks to what's in my control, the way that I speak, my attitude, the way I treat others, my self-talk, my energy, who I choose to spend my time with, and processing emotions. I love this. And then what's on the outside, what's out of my control, others' opinions of me, other people's beliefs and behaviors, the past, outcomes, time, what others say about me, the way people treat me, external events, the way people speak to me, aging, and so on. And so I love this visual because, and I keep it top of mind because sometimes it can feel, especially when the world feels really chaotic, it can feel like there's so much that's out of our control. But I really think it's important to be mindful about the boundaries in particular that you set in relation to the way that you spend your time, who you spend time with, boundaries even in relation to how you think, your mindset overall, boundaries in relation to energy management, boundaries in relation to even your dynamics at work. There's so much that you can control on a regular basis. And so that's where I recommend focusing your time, your energy on what you can control. And I'll give an example in relation to boundary setting around relationships. Over the past decade or so, I went through some really interesting dynamics, some traumatic events. And overall, I was led to the conclusion personally that I really need to do a better job at boundary setting in relation to who I should be spending time with, who is good for my mental health, who is good for my energy and feeling good on a regular basis. And that includes really anyone from like a work perspective, family, friends, you name it. Everyone falls within scope of that assessment. And one of the things I thought about was, okay, when I'm spending time with this particular person, when I am in their presence, whether it's in person or virtually, do I feel drained being around them? Do I feel like I need to compensate energetically for that dynamic, for that feeling, or do I feel empowered? Do I feel fueled up around them? Does that person pick at me? Do they say little things to try and like drain me or try to take away from my confidence, from my joy? Or do they say things that uplift me and fill me up? And that dynamic, by the way, goes both ways. Like I'm mindful about the energy that I'm receiving, and I'm also mindful about the energy that I'm putting out. But I say all of that to say, I am actively thinking about that when I am spending time with everyone, with anyone. I am being mindful about my energy. It's not like it's like distracting me from the conversation or from the dynamic, but in the middle of that dynamic, I'm doing an energy assessment, like an energy audit. And then I'm also thinking about when I'm no longer in that person's presence. How do I feel? Did that person like drain me? Was it like an energy vampire type of dynamic? Because if so, I need to think about, do I want to continue that dynamic going forward? Because that's in my control. And I think it's important not to let other people make you feel like that's not in your control. Really remind yourself on a regular basis. That kind of dynamic is within your control, regardless of what other people say. When it comes to situations like work and so forth, or maybe certain family dynamics and so forth, that's where it can get pretty tricky in terms of the way that you set that boundary. But even if it's in a situation where you have to see someone all the time, like at work, you can still set certain boundaries as needed around that dynamic and go into those energy exchanges, knowing that this person is XYZ kind of way and being mindful about that as you're going into that energy exchange and thinking through what are some ways that I can protect my energy in this moment, knowing that this person is XYZ kind of way and I can't completely avoid them. I can't completely separate myself from this dynamic. So those are the types of things that generally I wanted to remind you that, you know, you do have a number of things within your control when it comes to boundary setting, when it comes to your attitude, the way that you approach the world. Are you going to approach the world like filled up and in a giving mindset, or are you approaching the world already feeling drained, like your cup is half empty? And I'll be frank, like I present quite a bit professionally. I'm an attorney, and so I'm speaking a lot. And so one of the things that I have on my computer, like on my monitors right now, I have several Post-it notes that are encouraging and uplifting for doing presentations. I do a lot of virtual presentations and panels, that kind of thing. And I have one of my Post-it notes here is I am focused on giving right now. And so even when my eyes drop from my talking points on screen or from, answering a question, I have a Post-it note that is clearly telling me and helping me manifest the spirit of giving, the energy of giving to the people who are watching me, to the people who are listening to the advice or the whatever I'm speaking about. And it's really important to keep in mind what energy you're giving out and how you can control your energy in any situation. And I'll be frank, like when I'm mindful about what I can control in relation to the way that I show up every day and in meetings and in presentations and so forth, I see a positive benefit coming back to me. Like what I give out, I get back. And it's really cool to see that dynamic, especially when you see it, add up over time. I always feel like what goes around comes around. So really try your best to show up every day with your best self, keeping in mind what you can control and the boundaries that you can set around yourself to protect yourself while also simultaneously giving from yourself to maximize ultimately not just life experience and feeling good overall, especially in what can feel like chaotic times, but also to be able to give the best of yourself and maximize returns as well. This is a quick video. Be mindful about what you can control. Don't focus so much on what you cannot control. Still be mindful as to what's going on in the world and all of that, but don't get lost in that, because when you get lost in what's happening outside of your control, it's very easy to lose your grip on your goals, on what you need to tackle for the day, and all of the above. And I am so focused on my manifestation board, my goals for the day, for the week, for the year, and so forth. And one of the things that I especially do to stay on track with what I can control is if I feel like something is picking at me, it's drawing from my energy, I am very focused on transmuting that energy, that negative energy, into something positive in relation to one of my goals. So if someone is coming at me with some negative, weird vibes or energy or whatever, I will think about that moment and say, okay, what do I do with this energy? What can I control with this energy that I am interacting with right now? And I go work out. I go to the gym, or I get on the bike, on the Peloton. I walk on my walking pad. I do something that is productive for myself, so I can go to bed and say, you know what? I dealt with this icky energy, or I had this weird exchange or whatever, but you know what I did? I didn't stick on that energy. I didn't stick on that negative vibe. I took that feeling and I transmuted it for my gain into what I can control in relation to my goal. So that's a quick video, hopefully quick video. I've been speaking for a while, but I just wanted to put some encouraging vibes out there. And I'm looking forward to my next video. I'm not sure what the topic is just yet, but definitely stay tuned and stay well, stay uplifted, stay positive, and I will see you soon.